Hey you guys, what's up? This is Brooke Nichols and I'm back here with another video from Nature's Premiere. I hope wherever you are in the world you are having an amazing day. So today I want to talk real quick about sustainability and why it's so important to really take that into consideration when you are building your family, when you're raising your family, and really kind of just talk about how important living an eco-friendly lifestyle is. Now, it's more than just a hashtag, you know what I'm saying? It's obviously a hashtag, zero waste, conservation, sustainability, but there's so much more. There's such a power movement behind it. And I had gotten a comment from one of my customers who actually just moved, so she canceled the service, but she was asking me, she's like, sustainability is such a big term. It's such a big, vague word. Like, how do you wrangle all the important aspects of living a sustainable life? And how do you show people that? Is it just by, telling them to use cloth diapers, or how do you do that? And it was such a mind-blowing question because it's a very good question, because it's like, how do you answer that? How do you show people, or how do you talk to people about sustainable living? You see a lot of people post about it again on different social media outlets, but it's so much more than that. There's such a power behind it. And I think having this platform with, the fact that we have the diaper service and we have a lot of families who use diaper service, and then the fact that I have a podcast and we talk about sustainability, it's almost like this funnel, right? That goes from people who are starting to get the ball rolling with sustainable lifestyle with their children and things like that, and then really just wrangling in all the other, factors of sustainability, because it's such a broad topic. So what I wanted to talk about today was really why it's so important. And we know a lot of reasons why sustainability is important. And it's because we want to create a greener planet for our children, for ourselves. The fact that our planet is under attack. There's so many outlets, and we talk about it a lot on the podcast, but there's so many different ways our planet's getting attacked. It's constantly absorbing just so many blows, millions of blows a minute. It's crazy. It's so crazy. And I think my duty, or I'm putting this on me, what I'm doing and what I want to do with this channel and just talk about on the podcast is, how can families live a more sustainable lifestyle? Now, just like with anything else, you first have to be very pragmatic. You can't just jump into it. You can't just run into it because you're going to hit a brick wall. And that's something that a lot of people do, and they do that with a lot. They do that with dieting. They do that with becoming, if they're switching their diets, let's say they want to go from vegan to paleo, paleo to vegan, or if they want to lose 30 pounds. There's so many things that we do, right? And we go full steam, we get motivated, and then we get burnt out. And I don't want to see that happen to families, especially when a lot of us are already burnt out. I live in New York. I'm running around like crazy, and it doesn't matter where you live. I'm just saying though, but the hustle and bustle of living in New York, of running different businesses, of running the podcast, of raising 3 children the best to my ability, people are burnt out. And just, it's almost learning about something else, learning about another parenting technique, learning about, I have to worry about this now. It's very overwhelming for people. So what I want to do here is I really want to give you guys simple steps and talk about, what you can do to really reduce your eco footprint, but without it being something that's overwhelming and something that you're actually going to stick with. So some people may disagree with me on this, but I'm someone that believes in approaching people with a very compassionate state of mind. So let's say somebody, perfect example, with cloth diapers, right? They use cloth diapers, and then they go back to using another type of disposable diaper, and they beat themselves up. Well, my whole thing isn't to be oh, how could you go back to using that? That's horrible, this, that, and the third. My whole thing would be okay, so how about a month from now, let's try again. Really just try to build people up. And we do that constantly with the service because people get overwhelmed. And we have a very high success rate with helping families to transition from disposable diapers to cloth diapers. But, I will say, it's with anything. It's with plastic bags, it's with plastic straws, it's with anything. And what I would recommend, and this is something that I recommend to families, it's something that I recommend to friends, is to find some items that you use consistently on a daily basis, maybe plastic water bottles at the gym, maybe, disposable diapers. Take 3 items, right? And then take 6 months and try to remove those items from your household and choose a reusable counterpart. Now, there's really no time frame on how long you can implement a habit for this to work, but if you do consistently, right? If you do it consistently, let's say you use 8 straws a day, because I know a lot of people have smoothies. Me, myself, I love smoothies. I recommend glass Dharma straws, truthfully, for smoothies because they come in different sizes and different widths, and they're awesome. Not sponsored, but I will say that I highly recommend those straws. But let's say you use 5 straws a day. well, how about you just like take one out and then you replace it with a glass or a metal straw or some kind of reusable straw. You know, that's how you do it. And then maybe you wait 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then you replace 2 straws. Like, you have to make like simple steps, because if you just jump into it, you're not going to stick to it. We're human beings, and you're going to beat yourself up about it, and you're going to feel horrible about it, and it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it, because again, we have enough going on, and everybody, most people are very good people, you know, they just have a lot going on in their life, and they don't know enough, and you know, not enough people are screaming from the rooftops that we need a greener planet. Now, the movement is growing, and it's something that I'm very excited about, because I am seeing more and more people, especially with the diaper service, you know, that are coming to us, and they want to know how they can sustain our planet. They want to know how they can reduce their eco footprint. They really want to join the movement of what we're trying to do here. And it's very humbling, because it's showing you that there is a growing movement of people that really do give a damn, regardless of what other people say. So that would be my advice. You know, the sustainable conversation is deep, it's large. I mean, it does, there's so much that I could talk about. You know, you have palm oil, you have deforestation, you have so many things that people don't even think about. Even in their own backyard, native animals that are dying, you know, the chemicals that are in our air. We have 5G now, that's a whole topic. Like, there's so many, well, not yet, we don't have it yet. We're fighting it. We don't have it yet though. But there's so many things that we're being bombarded with daily. So pick a couple of items that you use consistently that are non-reusable, that are single use, that you can make reusable. There's a lot now, you know, even with like, so my new thing is reusable bags, produce bags, because for a long time, like, I always knew people use nets and things like that, but it was like, and I'm human too, and I was like, I couldn't be bothered. I was like, I'm doing so much already, you know, but when I started doing that, it's like such a game changer. It's so different. You know, these produce bags, I have like 50 of them, and I bring them to the store and I use them, I fill my mangoes with them and my bananas and all this other stuff, and I put it in my cart, and it just joins my army of reusable bags, you know, that I have in my trunk, to be honest with you. But that takes a long time. That's a habit. It's a habit. You want to build a habit, but you got to know how important it is, though. People want to raise their children. They want to give them organic applesauce. You know, they want to do the best for their kids, put them in nice designer clothes, nice schools, all this other stuff. You know, and then they forget, like, their habits are what consistently builds the world around them. So, you know, if we're going to continue to, you know, pollute our oceans, there's not going to be beaches for our kids to go to when they're older. You know, if we're going to continue to abuse our wildlife, they're not going to be there. You know, and it's not about just having a world for our kids, it's for our people around us. A lot of child-free kids that want to enjoy the planet too, you know? It's just so important, because our children are the future stewards of the earth, and people really have to get that. They have to realize that, you know? So if anybody has any comments below, if you have any suggestions on what people can do to reduce their eco footprint, that's easy, because I feel like, you know, and I hate the analogy of like, if you want to eat a whole elephant, you do it small pieces at a time or whatever. I always say if you want to eat a tree, you know, but if you want to attack a huge goal, and that would be to like live a zero waste lifestyle, that would be to implement small, actionable steps every single day. And in this video, I wanted to say the biggest impact that you can make on the environment, especially if you're a parent in diapers, is to choose reusable diapers. Just hands down, choose reusable diapers. It's not single use. You can reuse it thousands of times, and you can even turn around and sell your diapers. I mean, we talked about this time and time again about why cloth diapers are awesome and great for the environment, but that's just a takeaway. Like, choose one thing. And let's say you're not ready to give up disposables yet. You're like, you know what? That's too much. I can't do that yet. So look around the things that you use that are single-use items and make them reusable. Even baby bottles, you know, ditch the plastic and use glass baby bottles. You know, there's so many things out there that you can use it's going to be better for the environment. And I think the more we talk about why it's important to adopt these habits, the more people are going to do. But it just has to be easy, and it has to be, you know, brought on with compassion, because that's a big problem. And not to talk about the vegan movement, because I had the video my last video was about that, but that's a problem that I have with the vegan movement. Like, it's almost like a lot of these vegans come out there and they attack people. Like, they straight up attack people, and then you just cannot do that. You get more bees with honey. You cannot do that. You can't make people feel like any type of way because they're going to do the opposite. That's the same thing with anything. That's the same thing with cloth diapers. You know, I'm not going to get on here and be like, you have to use cloth diapers, because then you're not going to listen to me. You know what I mean? Like, it has to be met with compassion because everybody has a story. Everybody has a reason why they do what they do. And when you educate people to the best of your ability, you show them different sides, and you know, and you remain teachable. I'm someone that always remains teachable. You know, I get comments all the time. I get people that are always reaching out to me. Like, for example, on my podcast, I had so many listeners that had critiqued the way that I was speaking. I was speaking too fast. I was slurring my words. Even the way I say my name, like, people couldn't understand me. They told me to enunciate. I took that and with constructive criticism, but the way they said it, some people were mean about it, but the way they said it really did leave an imprint on me. I'm like, okay, you know, let me try that. And that's what I do in my podcast now. It's very different from when I first started. So it needs to be met with compassion. I just think that's how more and more people are going to make the necessary changes to really reduce their eco footprint. And again, eco footprint too. It's like hashtag eco footprint. Like, what is an eco footprint? It's just what you're consuming, what you're putting out into the world. And it just goes back to wanting to be as sustainable as possible. So if you want to make any changes, if you want to get, you know, the ball rolling with your sustainable lifestyle, then the biggest thing that you can do, especially if you're a parent, like I said earlier, is to choose a reusable diaper. Now, I recommend getting secondhand, checking out diaper swappers, checking out a diaper service so you don't have to commit to buying diapers. I recommend, you know, even maybe buying 1 or 2 diapers from an online vendor just to seeing which type you like. There's different ways that you can go about using cloth diapers, but if you're in the camp of looking for a sustainable diaper, I highly recommend checking out cloth diapers because it really does make a big impact. The second thing is reusable water bottles. That's something that's very easy that a lot of people use, is reusable water bottles, even those who aren't as like eco-conscious as a lot of other people that are. You know, and another thing also is straws. So the 3 that I would recommend if you wanted to start with some products would be diapers, bottles, or plastic you know, the plastic bottles that you use for water, or baby bottles, whatever type of bottle, because a lot of people go through bottles, and also to switch to reusable straws, because believe it or not, straws are like a huge problem. Plastic straws are a huge problem. Cigarette butts, a huge problem. It's almost like the smaller they are, the more deadly they are, right? So it's just like getting the ball rolling. It's getting the ball rolling, even one thing. It doesn't have to be. Diapers can be the absolute last thing. Diapers could be maybe the only thing that you don't switch to. You want to do what's comfortable, and you want to do something that's going to stick to it, that you're going to stick to. And trust me though, like when you get into the whole sustainability field, you really will go down that rabbit hole, and diapers will be a very easy thing for you to switch to, you know, going reusable. So I'm going to address the sustainability issue in a couple different ways. I'm going to talk about some stats in other videos. I'm going to really try to, you know, bring home the importance of living more of a sustainable life and not having it just be a cliche hashtag type of thing, because it is so important for the conservation of our future planet that we really start to make some small actionable steps. We really start to take some small actionable steps to preserve the future for our children and our children to come. Thank you all so much for tuning in to another video here today on Nature's Premiere. I really appreciate it. If you have any suggestions or comments below about future content for sustainability, please do leave them in the comment section below. And thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll check you back again on the next video.